Welcome back. So now we're going to talk about experiments number 5 and 6. So experiment number 5 is called You're Tearing Me Apart. So the objective for this experiment is to against a wall with a piece of wax paper, and this will replicate friction and shearing. The wax paper should crinkle and may even tear. So instead of going against a wall, I'm just going to rub my wax piece of paper I have right here, just up against the table here, okay? I'm just going to rub it, slide it up and down. What do you expect is going to happen to the wax paper? Okay, I'm going to show you what I did with it. So what do you think? Okay. Do you have any ideas on how to reposition resonance to reduce friction? Physical and occupational therapy staff partner with nursing staff to help with seating and positioning and to help prevent instances of friction. So the lesson I want you to get from this piece of wax paper is to prevent friction and shearing, we need to use things like draw sheets and lifting devices like mechanical lifts rather than dragging residents across their bedding, okay? We want to keep the head of their bed at or below 30 degrees or at the lowest degree of elevation. Consistent with the resident's medical condition, of course, to prevent sliding and shear injuries. We want to use cushioning devices, such as pillows, to prevent the touching of bony prominences against one another. So that is experiment number 5. Experiment number 6 is called You Bruise, You Lose. So the objective for this one is we want to educate staff on the challenges of assessing residents with dark skin. So those are residents of African American descent, Asian, Hispanic, and American Indian. So the instructions that I'm going to follow are I have 2 contrasting colored apples. One with light skin, we'll call it. This is a green apple. And one with darker skin, which would be the red apple. So each apple has a bruise on it. There's a bruise right there. And there's a bruise on this one. Okay. So which apple is the bruise easier to see on? Does it make a difference if I tilt it a little bit in the light? Okay. So I'd say the red apple is a little bit harder to see. You may need to feel for the bruise a little bit more on the red apple versus the green one. Cast a shadow on it because it's hard to see. It is really difficult to find bruising on a darker colored apple. So what makes it so hard? What is the difference here? So the difference is skin tone, right? So special attention should be given to those with darker skin, especially over bony prominences or after prolonged periods of sitting or lying. It is critical to look for discoloration and touch to skin to determine thickness or temperature. We want to report suspicious areas to the nurse if you're not a nurse yet. If you are the nurse, you would want to report any unusual bruising to the physician, especially if it's of greater size. The lesson here that I want you to get from this experiment is be extremely observant when assessing residents with darker skin tones. for slight discolorations and changes in the skin. Remember to report all suspicious areas. Okay, that's experiment 5 and 6. That's it for now.